Okay, hi everybody. It is me. Pretty late for this one. Um, had some things to do, so couldn't really do this a little earlier. But next week I'll do it much earlier because next week Game of Thrones is the last two episodes are going to be a minute and it's going to be over an hour. So and I already saw the preview for next week's episode. Uh, it's gonna go down. Oh my god, it's gonna go so down. But I figured this week's episode review, afterthoughts, I figured I'd do it myself. Next week though, I will bring in people. That is going to happen. No shit, that's going to happen. Because that one's gonna be, and then the last episode really gotta bring in people, because the shit that's gonna go down. Oh my god, it's just gonna be insane. No one's really viewing this, but who gives a fuck? Might as well get into this. Okay, so this was called No One, focused on Arya. Now, here's the thing. This episode was okay. There were a few things that I wasn't happy about in this episode. Number one, Blackfish. That pissed me off. That kind of pissed me off. No offense. That kind of upset me. What they did with Blackfish, because it just throws it off, you know. And the whole Arya thing, like, I don't know. The Arya thing in this episode, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it because it's almost as if you're saying, it's almost as if she went there. What did she go there for? Like dead ass. What did Arya go there for this entire time? To Bravos. Like, what was the whole point? Because if the whole point is that she ends up going to Westeros anyway, but then again, I shouldn't really say that because even though it wasn't a complete waste of time for Arya, it really wasn't because I guess she, in a weird way, you could say, she did find herself in its crazy way. Because, and I might as well let's start with that because this whole situation with Rave, many face god, it just whole freaking thing just confusing, belittled, and I just don't see. I mean, okay, in the episode, pretty much what happens is she goes to the one she was supposed to kill, supposed to poison, that actress, and Lady Kane. I think that's what they call her, Lady Kane, and she goes to her, and she's bleeding, obviously, and Lady Kane helps her. She heals her wounds and everything. What ends on happening to Arya is some dude shows up and kills Lady Kane. Well, actually, no. The Wraith showed up. This mysterious girl who, you know, shows up, kills the actress, Lady Kane, and then Arya's basically on the run. And thing, this whole thing leads up to Arya on a chase from the Wraith, running away from the Wraith, ends up going to her freaking she had like a hideout with a bed, and this is the location actually where she put Needle, her sword, and that's when Ray thinks this person thinks she cornered Arya and she's gonna kill her. Arya takes out the lights, which is just basically this candle lighting up the room, takes it out, destroys the candle, and during this dark moment when there's no light, kills the Wraith. And it shows up what's his face, and basically this leads Arya into saying that she's going back to Westeros. I mean, this is one of the things about this episode for me that just made me go like, huh? So you went to Bravos, okay? You went to Bravos to see him, and this whole freaking thing resulted in what? The only thing I can think of that can be honestly stated of what this resulted in was, okay, Arya found herself, and she's like a better person now. When she came to Bravo, she wanted revenge, but now she's a little bit different. But at the same time, I'm like, what was there really any point to it at all? This is the one thing of this episode that I'm a little upset about because I just felt like it was a waste of time. Tell what you guys think in the chat because I personally think it's a waste of time. I think the directors of the show basically put her there just to put her there. I just don't like it. It wasn't something. What was the result of it? What was the result of all that running around, her being no one, and this whole thing? I just didn't see the whole purpose of it. We get the Hound in this episode as well. The father was sitting here. He's like, I like that guy. Well, actually, he said it twice. He said he liked the mountain. Father likes the most OP character. Well, not well, to an extent. He was. He said he liked the Hound. He also likes the mountain. So he likes he likes the brothers in a weird way. But we see the Hound. He butchers the fuck out of these guys who apparently are from the Band of Brothers, Brotherhood, and kills them in a most brutal way. Cuts a guy's head off. He takes an axe and he just and a guy in the groin. I'm like, oh shit, there was blood. It was nasty. He just OD on those motherfuckers. The rest of the part of the episode for the Hound was basically he meets up with the actual Brotherhood and he finds the three guys that killed the village, to destroy that village. And who do we see? Oh, the guy who resurrected after he killed him. And the other guy. So that whole situation results in the Hound killing two of the three, by way of hanging. And he's like, I like the Hound's reaction. Like, everybody dies. Do they really have to die this way? Like that's more or less what he was trying to get at. Like he wanted to kill them by way of an axe to the head or something. But the Brotherhood wouldn't allow it. So this results in having a talk with the Brotherhood banners. And they're trying to recruit him, which I found very strange. But nothing really. I'm not sure if he's going to join them. He might join them, but I don't know if that's going to happen. It might happen, but we'll see. But rating-wise for the episode as a whole, I have to give this a 7 out of 10. It's a low rating, but reason being is there were just some things in this episode that irked me. One being the Arya thing, the other thing being, I think, Blackfish. That was another thing that kind of pissed me off about this episode. But still was it was a decent episode. It was a decent one. Well, another thing that was interesting about this episode, which, who called it? Someone called it. Oh, fuck. I'm trying to remember who did it, who said it. I think it was Rick or Zoro Fanboy. Someone said they wanted to see Tyrion fail. I think it was Rick. Yeah, I think it was Rick. And Rick was right. Let's talk about that next. Because this was something that I think was kind of interesting. Let's talk about Dany, the Dany situation, or what goes down in this episode for her. Well, she shows up later. But in the beginning, we have Varys and Tyrion. I'll get into the King's Landing and the River Run stuff, but we need to talk about this first. So he's with Varys and Tyrion. They're walking around, and he's like, look. It's like, He's proud of himself, Tyrion, basically saying, look, a day ago, there was chaos and ships burning, and look what I did in that time. He's proud of himself. Things are moving along. Varys is going to go on a expedition, apparently. So he's going to go on a ship to an expedition to Westeros. Who knows what that's going to accomplish? Maybe he'll get some people to help Dany, to go with him, to go to fight for Dany. Then there was this weird scene with Grey Worm. What's that other one? Melisandre and Tyrion. They're sitting. They're sitting down. He's saying, "Oh, have a drink." He's like, "Have a drink." To Grey Worm and Melisandre. This was the most awkward part of that scene because they were all trying to tell jokes, and it was like no one was laughing at them. And that had me dying. I feel so bad for Tyrion. Now, this scene is funny. They're drinking, having fun. Then all of a sudden, ships start coming in to Meereen. It's the Masters. And they're attacking Meereen. And that's when shit hits the fan and Tyrion didn't do it. He couldn't get the job done. Because even when he consorted with the Masters, they still attacked anyway. So I think it was Rick. Anime Rick, check out this live stream. Props. I think Rick was right. He said he wanted to, with Tyrion to fail. And this is the instance. And they're attacking the temple, the Meereen itself, by way of ship. And Grey Worm tells Tyrion, don't do anything. Saying, there's no reason for us to go out there. Grey Worm says, we'll attack from the pyramid, from here, what this infrastructure that they're in. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, someone comes in. It's Dany. So, and the dragons are outside. Now, I don't know if the dragons are going to attack the ship. I think they are. I think that's a mistake. I think it would be wise to try to capture some of those ships. But who knows what that's going to deliver. But I think it was Rick. I think Anime Rick stated, I don't think it was in my live stream. He said it in, he might have said it in mine, or he said it in Zoro's, that he wanted to see, or that he thinks he's going to see Tyrion fail. It's one of the instances. And this is an instance, because he had thought, oh, look what I did. Look what I accomplished. And it turns out that wasn't very much, because they attacked anyway, the Masters. But from what I've seen, that I believe that's what Rick said. So that's basically, and thoughts on that. I thought that was done well. I thought that scene was great. There were certain scenes in this episode that I thought were interesting. The thing with Tyrion, and then there were the rare instances about in Riverrun. Now let's get into that. Riverrun, there were at least, I would probably say, 3 to 4 scenes. 3 to 4 character interactions. There was one with Pie and Bronn. That was funny. It was like teaching him how to fight. Then there was one with Blackfish's nephew, the one who got married during the Red Wedding, and Jaime. And then there was one with Brienne and Blackfish twice. She talks to Blackfish twice. And one with Brienne and Jaime. The one with Brienne and Jaime, she basically gives him his sword back, and it kind of opens all the rooms. Let me clear the air about Jaime. I think, to be perfectly honest, listen, I understand what he's saying. I understand it. I really do. Though I wouldn't condone this, for the time, I understand it. He wants to go back to Cersei, okay. But you know what? I know. No, it's as noble as Jaime is. I still feel that what he's trying to accomplish is, because it's like he meets up with Brienne, and he's like some kind of relationship with Brienne, and then he's trying to go back to Cersei. So, but the conversation he had with the nephew, the Red Wedding, about sisters, about Cersei and Cat. I thought it was a very interesting conversation they were having. I thought that was done very well. The other thing that was done very well was obviously, like I said, Brienne and Jaime. He's allowing her to try to come to persuade Blackfish to get the hell out. Even though Brienne went up there and talked to Blackfish and told him, listen, your niece needs you, Sansa. And sadly enough, he told her, and the thing is, from the preview, I really thought Blackfish and his men were going to go with them. I really did. But that's not what happened. He stated to Brienne that he only had, that supposedly he said, what did he say? He said that he has only a little more troops than Sansa does. That's basically his response. And basically the other, and that's where that conversation went. And then the next conversation that happened between Brienne and Blackfish was when Brienne and Pond were getting out of Dodge, and she stated, "You're better with Sansa than I ever was." In other words, it's better for you to be with Sansa than for me. That was his. But the only problem with that, he gets killed off screen, and I'm like, really? I know he's an old man. I know, but still, you gotta kill him off screen. I don't know, that irked me. But this episode was good. I know someone from the J Room was saying, "Oh, it's work, okay," from last week's episode. But this episode was, I'm kind of twisted on it. I like some things, but there are a lot of things about it that, mostly the Arya stuff and the fact that Blackfish got killed off screen, that irked me. And basically what ends on happening during this whole situation, between the conversations that have been going on, the real ruler of Tully's shows up, the nephew in the Red Wedding, and he asks them, the people of the castle, to lay down their arms. And basically, there's no bloodshed that is spilled or what have you during the situation. The only person who dies is Blackfish himself. And then the last scene, you have Jaime waving with his metal hand to Brienne, and she's like, "Yeah, hi." And that's how that whole situation ended. I mean, listen, like I said before, I do feel bad for Jaime, but let me tell you something, dude. You're a Lannister, and you killed, your family destroyed, literally destroyed Starks, destroyed them. Okay, so any kind of sympathy you're getting from anyone is limited. Even though this is war and everything, it's still. So, and when he, he's like saying, "Oh, about Sansa and everything," dude, she didn't do it. That's my whole point about Jaime. Like, if he really believes that Sansa really had some part in that orchestration of Joffrey's death, like, come on. But, whatever. But anyway, that part was, the River Run stuff was good, except for Blackfish getting killed off screen. I didn't like that. The rest that happened in this episode, we have, okay, the next part. I'm torn on this too. There was a lot of twists and turns in this episode. There were some things I liked, but there was a lot of stuff I didn't like. Okay, so, but this part really made me happy. Like, Zombie Mountain. So, the Wigilous nut bars of the High Sparrow want to escort Cersei to somewhere else for her this whole business with the trials and everything. So what happens is she says, no, have him come to me at the Red Keep. This results, and the guy's like, there will be violence. You don't want violence, like there's and then she says, then I'll have violence. And then the mountain stands in front of this guy. This guy hits him with like some kind of, looked like an axe. I don't think it was an axe, like an axe or spike club or something. Hits him in the chest, does nothing, takes the guy, strangles him, strangles him. He's on the ground. We don't see the scene. Mountain rips his head off with his bare hand. With his hand. He's like, and it was a blood dripping. I was like, yeah, that was beast. So vicious. But what ends up happening in this situation in King's Landing is Cersei goes at the where the Iron Throne is. There's a meeting about the crown. There's this big thing. And apparently what happens is Tomlin announces that there will be no trial to combat. Meaning Cersei cannot use the mountain. And instead, the trial is going to be with the 7 high. Listen, let's be perfectly honest here. Why don't we just send Dany now to the fucking King's Landing and burn it all down to the ground? Because at this freaking point, the crown is fucked. The crown is fucked. Sorry. It's fucked at this point. And I'll bring it up in Zoro's string. The crown is fucked. The crown is fucked. And they are letting this bum, yes, a bum. He's a bum, and his hired goons are bums, and they think they're in a cult, take over King's Landing. You're fucked. You're all fucked. So what this means actually is the real bare bones about it is that Cersei can't get out of this with the mountain. So it's going to be one of those things where I guess you could say a high possibility that Cersei might not get out of this, and she might have to pay some kind of punishment. I don't know if they're going to execute her, but we'll see. But overall, this episode was good. It's just, there were a lot of things that upset me. The whole Arya plotline, Blackfish getting off screen, the whole freaking King's Landing thing. It's just, ugh. But I say a 7 out of 10. And depending on what Zoro says in his stream, if he can do his stream, he didn't have a stream last week. Comcast at its finest. I'm probably going to give it the same rating because, frankly, the Arya thing made no sense to me. I'm like, what was the point of her going there? But the Hound stuff was fucking awesome. The Mountain did some brutal shit. And the preview is what everyone thinks it is. It is the battle between the bastards. Ramsay the bastard. So Ramsay Snow versus Jon Snow. I do not know how this is going to end, how it's going to conclude, this battle. My guess is this. Now, I know the story. I know the actor who plays Ramsay said he wanted to die via dragon. That's not happening. There's no way in God's green earth that's happening. Dragons aren't going all the way up north and freeze to death just to kill Ramsay. That's not happening. However, here's my thing. What if he does die in a gruesome way? What if he gets killed by the Night King? I know it's a far-fetched because the thing is, Rick kind of told me the titles for the next couple of episodes, and I know the title for the final episode. I'm not going to say it here because I don't want to spoil it. I get people all wrapped up. But not least to say, the title that I found out about is suggestive. And I already heard that they're going to have episode 9 and 10 over an hour long. So this should be some finale we're going to get for this season. Now, as far as my overall so far, excluding this episode, I would have to say this was a definite better season than last season. It was. It was definitely better. Better in where it was going, better in what they accomplished, better in all those aspects. Possibly 8 out of 10, depending on how they close it out. That we're gonna see. Now, I guess I'll take a look at the chat and see if anyone's chatting away before I end this. They close it out. That we're gonna see. Recent episode written. I know, Brez. That pissed me off. But I was more pissed off about freaking Blackfish. Off screen? It's fucking bullshit, man. I know he's old, but at least show something. You can't show him fighting some dude. If he went out fighting Jaime, I would be like, no, we can't do that. Bullshit. And yeah, to the other guy who said that, yes, Kim Tomlin is a bitch. He's a fucking little pansy. He's no better than. Yeah, the faith is stupid. Okay, I'd rather have the Greyjoys come in there with their ships and burn that fucking castle down to the ground than have the freaking faith. It's stupid, man. Kill the fucking High Sparrow and these freaking faggots and be done with it. Enough. Freaking White Walkers are coming in. Like, seriously. Ken Tomlin. You're stupid. Yeah. You are. But that's basically the whole story about this episode. Like I said, 7 out of 10. So I'm guessing next week, man. Yo, John, come on. John can't. I know. You know what would be also good? I stated about the Night King. If John does it. If John kills Ramsay. Or, here's a better idea. But that would be stupid. I don't think that's going to happen. I was going to say, like, they don't kill Ramsay. They take him to a dungeon. And they do exactly what he did to Theon. But that's not happening. That's not happening. That's too absurd. Yeah, you know. Huh. Night Ruler 003. Well, some people watching now. Yeah, it was like I said, Bresboy. It was a decent episode. 7 out of 10. So now, next week we have the Bastard versus the Bastard. Oh, I'm investing in getting some pop. Game of Thrones pop, to be exact. Not a lot. I forgot to mention this since we're talking about Game of Thrones. I recently got. I'm gonna get like 3 pop figurines, and there might be like 2 or 3 more. Right now, it's gonna be 3 though. 2 being actual characters and 1 being an animal. You'll see. You guys will see. If you wanna, check that out or do an unboxing video or something. So yeah, that's pretty much the episode. like I said, 7 out of 10. Next week I'll definitely, most definitely bring in people. Um, so that's the story there. Um, but yeah, thanks for watching. For whoever was watching, this was just a mini thing. And another thing I'm a little concerned about is Arya. Like, what was the point of that? Comment section below, chat, people, chime in your thoughts on that, on Arya, because to me, I think that was a mistake. And book readers, what's the story with Arya in the book? Give me a little hint, because I don't understand it. Like, logistically, I don't understand it, because what was the point of her going to Bravos in the first place? I think it was a waste of time, to be honest. Anyway, I will see you guys later. Peace out.